Stream is going. And I'm being a total moron. I forgot to have something open.
Halloween isn't over until I say it's over, god damn it.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
This is the wake of Halloween.
I don't care that the Home Depot put up their Christmas decorations last week. Still Halloween, god damn it.
Yeah.
Not even joking about that either.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Went into the Home
I
Depot
wouldn't.
for something else. Their Christmas decorations were up.
Those sons of bitches.
Oh wait, no, it was 2 weeks ago. That's even worse.
That's terrible. All right, I think I'm ready. Is everyone ready?
Aww.
Oh, definitely.
Very good.
That's amazing.
Then allow me to welcome you to this slightly late episode of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Tonight we introduce a new character to your party under difficult circumstances. But better late than never for a Halloween episode. All right. I shall. You can go to regular size window now. So, where we left the dropped kilt. Oh, let's change to some different spooky music.
The dropped kilt.
Yes.
That the name of the boat?
Their ship is named the Dropped Kilt. You will discover why, much to your chagrin, probably relatively soon into the campaign. The Dropped Kilt has left port of Saltmarsh on its way to the Abbey Island on a cleanup operation. Just before dawn on this cool fall morning. And due to maybe it was some rain last night, maybe it's unseasonably warm air, but the sea is dense with fog this evening. It seems to be almost rolling in chunks off of the land masses and just pooling and causing some severe visibility issues all throughout the harbor. And to the point where Captain Tory decides to drop sail and let the current take you out. As you're riding along and the lookouts are straining for any sign of land so that they can get a bearing on whereabouts you are in the harbor, there's a unseasonably chill wind that blows down across the deck. Most of you are not dressed for cold weather, so one of the sailors goes below and comes up with, they're like big, not denim, but they're that thick material like you'd see on Revolutionary War reenactors and stuff like that. You know, that thicker military grade burlap cloth stuff.
Yep.
And they hand around these coats for you to try to cut the chill air. And it's about 45 minutes of just slow cruising. I mean, by your estimation, according to the map, you should have been halfway to the island by now, but because you're not under sail and not even really sure where you are, it's taking extra long, and the captain's getting a little frustrated with all this, as she is wont to do at times. when the lookout on the bow shouts out, "Captain, we have a boat in the water." And the captain strides to the front of the ship, and in the dim pre-dawn light, any of you that also happen to look over the ship can see a small craft, rowboat-sized, with a lantern on a hook mounted to the front of the boat, and you can just make out two hooded forms on the boat. And Captain looks at the three of you and just kind of looks back down and watches as the little ship approaches closer, and the figure in front throws back its hood to reveal a woman with long wavy black hair, and she calls up. She's like, attention ship, I don't know how this works. Can I ask your assistance? We're looking for Schloss Mordenheim. Tori looks to the rest of you. You have any idea what she's talking about?
No.
Never heard of them.
It's not a him. It's a mansion on a hill. It's supposed to be around here somewhere. You haven't seen it?
Lord, not see any hills.
Do you mind if we come aboard? Just to stop rowing? I'm sorry. I really... Please? And you notice they are both kind of slightly shivering and a little damp. And the captain looks at you again. She's like, it's your boat.
Well, I think we should hide behind the chainsaws.
Right? Yeah.
I love that commercial.
Yeah, right. And at that moment, there's a thump from the rear area of the ship. And a sailor comes running up to where you are all standing. And he looks a little agitated and he says, beg your pardon, Captain, but we've got ice in the water. She's like, what? And she starts heading back toward the aft side of the ship. She's like, it's your boat, make your decision. I have to look at this.
Okay, so do we have any, some of us are locals, do we have any knowledge of
Sure, make a
this
history check.
mansion?
I'm not a local, so I won't do that.
Yeah, it's really just Zor is the local.
Where's my character sheet? There it is. History.
Shit. The only mansion on a hill that you're aware of in this area is the one that you cleared out a few months back. You don't know if it had a name, but it hadn't been lived in quite a while. That's why you were clearing it out.
Was there any like monogrammed gates or anything like that?
I don't think so. It's a shot in the dark whether that's the place or not.
Okay.
And these are two like hooded cloaked
the one in
old
the
women.
front. No, the one in the front is a woman. She looks fairly young, maybe in her early 30s at most. The figure in the back is holding the oars and is otherwise indescript. The hood's up. Both of them appear to be a little on the damp and cold side.
Do we know enough about the Princes of the whatever tactics? Does this set off any red flags?
I would say no. They're more they're less subtle. If it's a Sea Prince tactic, it's a new one.
Oh, Zorg is torn. Gunny would say hell no, And Silvermane would say, hell yes.
And everyone who's in the middle is left here. Yeah. I don't trust it. I think it's really weird, and I don't know why there's ice in the water, and why the ice showed up at the same time as these two people. I don't like it.
Says the lawful good character.
Right?
She calls up to you. Please, if there's any decency in you, a scrap of food, maybe a little bit of warmth, and then we'll be on our way.
Where exactly is the ship right now? Are we just hanging out in the bay, or are we...
So you're in open
Pretty
water.
far out.
You can't see
Yeah.
any sign of land because the fog is so thick. Your visibility is about 150 yards, and the little boat, is at this point basically not even 10 feet away. It's kind of pulled up right alongside you.
How did a little boat like that get out here? Is it feasible for them to come out this far?
Well, you're
Or
not,
could-
you're not terribly far from shore. At least you don't
Okay.
assume you are. I mean, you could row that far, and then if you got caught by the current, you could get pulled out. But it's not like the water's choppy and big waves and stuff. But as you're thinking that and looking around, you do notice the occasional ice block float by. And these aren't the, icebergs bigger underneath than they are on top kind of ice. These are the flat surfaces that you'd run across. Just kind of a
Oh, yeah,
hunk
so,
of
like...
flat ice, just kind of floating in the ocean here and there. And Tori comes back up to the front. She's like, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Some kind of black magic."
I'm gonna ask. Do you two know why there's ice floating around our ship right now?
Do you not know where you are? Are you lost too?
Oh shit! Is it Ravenloft?
This is you are off the coast of Lamordia. Perhaps you've gotten off course.
What is Lamordia? Would we know what
Not
Lamordia
familiar
is?
with Lamordia, no.
Where is Lamordia?
It's about. I'm not sure on exact distances, but it's not too far to the west of us.
Where is Lamordia relative to Saltmarsh?
Well, actually, Lamordia is the land. The city is Ludendorff, which is not too far to the west, she says.
Are you familiar with Saltmarsh?
She, I'll make an insight check.
Insight. My specialty. Perfect.
Mhm.
You can't really read her expression or when she hears you, but she does turn to her companion and says something, and it shakes its head. A little shrug of the shoulders. I can't say that I have, no.
Excellent. I'm really confused by all of this.
Oh,
She's kind of holding her shoulders a little bit. Please, it's very cold down here.
Why don't we take them aboard, and if they're responsible for this, we can just throw them back in. Without the boat.
We have no weapons to speak of.
I do.
Cadwell has a
I do
dagger
hate-
and a crossbow, if that makes you, if it helps to tell you, but
Okay, now we can trust you.
oh wait, Cadwell's one of them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, now if you didn't have any weapons, that would mean you're trying to pull one over on us.
Yeah. Oh,
I have this, and she kind of pulls her robe back a little bit, and you see a little dagger strapped to her hip. She's like, "I'm really not a fighter. That's why I brought my friend here."
Okay,
We
okay.
can leave our weapons here if it
Yeah.
makes you feel better.
yeah.
Oh, Cadwell, don't be a fool. You know you don't need your weapons anyway.
Exactly.
All right,
You
come
don't hear that. You don't hear
aboard.
that. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, the sailors take orders, and they toss a rope, and they tie it off, throw down a rope ladder, and the two hooded figures come aboard. The woman is... Let's see, I don't know if I can show you a token if it's on a different map layer or a different page. Let me see if it works. Can you see this? No? Okay, I think you have to be on a different layer. I'm gonna do copy, and I'm gonna come over to your page. Her hair is a little darker than this, but she kind of looks like that. And as she comes aboard, she definitely looks like she's been at sea a little bit longer than they had planned. And her companion comes aboard and I don't know, do you throw back your hood, Cadwell?
Sure, why not?
All right. He's a little unsettling at first glance. You can describe yourself, Brian. Don't let me do it.
Yeah. I have medium length black hair and pale complexion. A little bit unusual pale. No facial hair. And other than that, I seem to be human.
I'm picturing Marilyn Manson right now.
If we go to the token page here, I have added him. Looks kind of like this-ish.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah,
Are
my
your
skin's
eyes-
probably not that shade of gray,
Yeah.
and the eyes don't glow.
No, but they're a little sunken, a little hollow. There's something
Yeah.
a little unsettling about him, but you get over it pretty quickly.
Kind of like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, a little makeup.
Nice.
We just watched that last night.
Yeah.
She says, do you have a chart? Maybe I might know, I don't know Saltmarsh by name, but I might know the bay or cove or whatever. I can try to help you figure out where you are.
Yeah, we can show, show
Yeah,
her
you have a
that. Yeah.
you have a navigational chart. Tori, the captain, is a little apprehensive of showing this stranger sea charts, but there's nothing top secret information on these charts or anything. So, and she, the woman introduces herself as Katrina von Brandthofen. And this is Cadwell Dust Whisper. He's a longtime friend of mine. He's very trustworthy. Don't let his appearance fool you. He's a very nice fellow. So
right.
let me look at your charts. Scanning, looking. Make an insight check. If you're there. Okay. Oh, all right. Farrell, you notice that
Oh
there's
God, I did. Holy shit, I actually did well.
You notice there's a tension to her shoulders, like when she sees your charts. You kind of read that she has no idea where any of these areas are. And then she kind of pulls herself together and she says, "It could be further west, past Ludendorff, maybe. The winds do get strange this time of year. Maybe you drifted off course. Yeah. Do you mind if we ride with you for a little bit? We're going to be able to see our thing from up here a lot easier than from down there. You understand? I'm sure you understand.
Sure, why not?
Be no reason not to.
I'm a little disconcerted by all of this still.
And almost as if on cue, a lookout shouts, "Captain Fog's clearing!" And Tori's like, "Oh, thank the gods." And she leaves the navigation quarters and goes outside. And then you hear her, like, loudly exclaim some pirate string of curse words. And I assume the rest of you rush out to see what she's cursing about.
Yeah.
And you see that you're less than a quarter mile offshore, and the shore that you can see is just rocky crags. And in the other direction, out to open ocean, you just see lots of chunks of ice and a couple what look like icebergs just floating out in the deeper water. And in a language you don't understand, she just starts cursing. And at that moment, or soon after that, Katrina says, "There! Cadwell, there! That must be it!" And she points, and you look in the direction she's pointing. And there's a little outcropping of rock, like a little peninsula. It gets thin, and then it widens into a circular island, almost circular island. And on the top, there's this 4-story mansion built, perched over one edge. And you see a single light on the second floor, facing the sea. She says, "There! That's it. Surely that's it."
Must be.
Perhaps you folks would come with us? Maybe they know where this Saltmarsh is? We could certainly use the help. And you might be able to find some warmer clothes, because you're not dressed for this.
Go for some draping.
Yeah.
My aunt should be there, and she was, if I recall, a very nice person. A warm meal, maybe a nice bed to sleep in.
Green pastries
Was
for
a
dessert.
very nice person, not is.
I'm trying to find her. I haven't talked to her in a few years.
Okay.
She stopped communicating with the family, and I'm just making sure she's okay.
Sure.
What's the worst that could happen? She says.
Insight.
Hold on. She says we can take my boat. I probably should have mentioned. I always forget that none of you are human, so she was probably a little slightly weirded out by the tabaxi, for sure. The Triton in low light, you could almost pass for human until you're inside the cabin and your blue skin kind of is illuminated. But she held it together, and a gnome is not terribly unusual. And for the
He has
sake,
not met this gnome.
True. And for the sake of argument, Gnolf and Silvermane are on the ship, and they're exceedingly nice to her. Especially Silvermane, because he likes the ladies. Well, he likes Hannah, so maybe he wouldn't necessarily hit on her too much. But either way, they decide to stay on the ship and maybe try to figure out something, whatever is going on. And Thurkir may or may not come with you, depending on if Pitts shows up later tonight.
Fair enough.
But you don't get any weird vibes off of Katrina. She seems like what you see is what you get. She doesn't hide much, and she has a little bit of a personality. Like I get what I want most of the time, but not in a I expect to get what I want, but just she's used to being able to talk her way into stuff. I'm not going to speak for Cadwell, but I assume just that he kind of just radiates a little bit of creepy-ish, but he's also pretty suave and is able to compensate for any weird appearances you get.
Yeah.
Because he is a charisma-based character, so more than likely he can smooth over any rough edges when you speak to him.
Sure.
So you go down the rope ladder onto her boat, and she goes, "Really, I am just ever so grateful that you can come with me because, I mean, Cadwell, you're a nice guy, but you're just not one for talking sometimes. And I've heard all your stories, and these guys, look at them. Anyway, you gentlemen are just wonderful. Shall we?" And she kind of sits in the front of the boat and waits for the menfolk to take the oars. And you row through the water toward the island. And as I mentioned before, it is a rocky island with some very sparse vegetation. And as you get closer, you notice that there's a spotty layer of snow on the beach. And so you pull the boat up onto the sand. And she kind of pulls her robe a little bit tighter. It's had a chance to dry, we'll say, on the ship. And begins walking up the winding path toward the top of the hill. We're going to go.
I follow closely behind.
We're going to go here. Oops, it's a very small map. I did not put you on here yet, Cadwell, because I hadn't made your token yet. So I assume Kahelis is usually in the front. As you're walking
That
along
works.
as you're walking along this rocky little path along the edge of the cool water, you notice in the road some blood splatterings.
It's just
Fresh? Clotted?
It looks somewhat fresh.
I don't want to ask any questions because I don't want to be the one to do the investigation check. Somebody else ask questions.
Zora will feel if it's still warm.
All right, well, move up. Okay, as you get close, what is your passive perception off the top of your head? Let's see.
My
12.
PP is 12.
You have a
14.
12 PP. All right, you're there too. Let me check something real quick. Well, first thing you do notice is a deer carcass dragged over to the back of a tree.
Yeah, well, that's hardly anything to be concerned about.
And
Yeah, but if it was dragged, what would drag a deer carcass behind a tree?
all right, you are caught by surprise.
Uh-oh.
By the
Roll initiative.
Roll initiative. By the beast that killed the deer. So, all of
I'm gonna have to be added. I didn't click my token,
okay.
but I rolled a 15. Oh, and Jeremy, just a quick heads up. I had meant during my downtime to switch to a longsword because I've been using a greatsword with dueling fighting style for some reason.
Okay.
So I just assumed that my character made a really lopsided trade and just subtracted my much better weapon for a cheaper one.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Just to not worry about it, if that's okay.
That is perfectly fine.
Yeah. I got fleeced.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll even let you keep your greatsword because you've got enough of a reputation around town that people would
Nice.
like as long as you rep my blacksmith shop while you're out there, you can have this for free, that kind of a thing.
I'll let him put a big old emblem from his blacksmith shop on there. He'll be my sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I need to roll initiative for this. And it is going to go first because you are caught off guard as a very large wolf with a white coat kind of makes itself known in the bushes. And it, on its turn, steps out into the path and just exhales a blast of icy air. Let's see if I can find a good one. Let's go with this. Hooah! All right, so I need Zor and Cadwell to make a dexterity saving throw, please. That's a pretty good save.
No problem.
That is not so much a good save. All right, so I don't know why it didn't actually roll that. I'm going to roll on the GM layer. All right, so Zor takes 5 cold damage and Cadwell takes 10. If Cadwell is susceptible to cold damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't have any resistance to damage. Oh, I do, but not cold.
Okay. And then top of the round, Feral, you see a large winter wolf step out of the trees and it bursts a cold blast of air on 2 of your companions.
Okay. How do I want to do this? Oh, let's see. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, I think I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right up to here.
Okay.
And do my thing. Rapier.
All right. The second rapier strike hits, so it does the extra sneaking damage. So you do 15 points of damage to the wolf. It snarls at you for the audacity, and it goes next. It's going to see if its breath weapon recharges first. It does not, and so it's going to attempt to bite Feral. It's AC 20.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hit.
It does 9 piercing damage, and you need to make a strength save.
Make a strength save. Not my best, but...
Right, so you stay on your feet. It tries to throw you to the ground by grabbing you toward the leg, but you manage to keep your footing. Zor.
All right.
So, Cadwell, one thing you notice about Zor, he wears a kilt.
Okay.
I hoist my flail. I draw my dagger.
Mm-hmm.
My kilt drops to the ground, and I charge in recklessly.
All right, that means rage has been enabled. Yep.
I gotta enable my rage. That's a good point.
That's how you know he's raging.
That's interesting.
Whoa, that's a hit.
Nice.
That's a hit too. 14, 23 damage. Wow.
Oh, I should have done that with advantage, but hey, I did it anyway. Or did I do it with advantage? No, I didn't.
Why would you have advantage? Is it your rage?
Because I did it with frenzy, with reckless attack.
Go ahead and roll twice more. I'm not going to change the damage, but if one of those is a crit, then you can potentially do crit damage. Well, no, we'd go with the 10 and the 13, so because it's first. Right. If you had rolled it that way the first time, that's
all right.
That's still pretty good.
No, just for your information, you probably know this, but he has advantage against me.
Okay.
Because I'm recklessly attacking.
All right. Well, it is Kahilis is up.
All right. As a bonus action, I'm going to do my channel divinity and do Vow of Enmity.
Okay.
Which gives me advantage on all attacks against the wolf for a minute.
You advantage on it, not it against you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
And I am going to attack said wolf. And alright, but second attack.
26 is a
There
hit.
we go.
12 slashing damage. Nice. The wolf is not pleased with what's going on to its current situation right now. That's your turn, right?
That is it, yep.
Alright, Cadwell.
Alright. I'm going to back up a little bit. And then I'm going to cast a spell that I've never used before.
Well, this character hasn't used any of these before.
Normal.
It's brand new.
Oh, this character, yeah. But I mean, just in general, I've never used this spell. Well, 1 Chaos Bolt.
Oh. Alright, well, an 18 is a hit. 13, see text. What does that mean?
You look at the 2 d8s that you rolled, which I rolled a 6 and a 2. Then you look at the chart and determine if you want the 6 or the 2 for damage. 6 being poison and the 2 being cold. Well, I think we're going to go with poison damage.
Okay.
So it's
wise choice. So 13 damage.
So the whole attack is poison damage. Then.
Right. That's interesting. That's kind of cool spell. And that's it, right? That was a move and an action, and you don't have a bonus action, I'm assuming?
Correct.
All right. Farrell, you're up.
Nice.
I'm gonna start circling around
Okay.
to right here,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to attack
With advantage.
with the murder sandwich.
Ooh.
Yeah, roll your sneak attack.
Yeah. There we go.
Whoa. It's blue.
Why is that in blue?
Because it's a
Oh,
one and a
because,
six.
Oh, 1
I-
and a 6. Max and min.
That's neat. I've never seen that before.
No.
9, 13, and
Huh.
a whole ton. You finish off the wolf with a squeal and a whimper. It stumbles nose first into the sand, and its back legs are still trying to kick a little bit, and then it just stops moving. And a stillness passes over the land again.
Yeah, go pick up my guilt.
Okay. Katrina walks up. She says, I get it now, as she watches Zor put his kilt on.
I give her a wink.
She kind of smiles, but it's like a nervous smile.
Hee 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 ha 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 ho. I should get out of here.
And
Never seen a 3-legged gnome, have ya?
oh,
For Christ's sake.
Still haven't.
and after another hour of walking, you get to the top of the hill and the outside of the building. I'm going to put everyone on the map. And I need to... Oh, I did that from the other screen. Haha! Wow. There we go. She will step to the front unless anyone tries to stop her. Wow, why is it... Oh, hold on a second. I think I need to do... this. There we go.
Oh,
Ever so briefly, you got to see everything.
and I didn't memorize the damn thing. I just looked away.
Yeah.
She will approach the building. Now, the front courtyard is more of an actual courtyard. Hold on, I got descriptions here. Okay, you see a wrought iron gate hanging by one hinge. The area beyond is thick with weeds and wind-blown debris. I'm gonna alter the dynamic lighting layer a little bit if I can grab it. There's the door. Pull that out of the way. And I'm just gonna pull this wall completely away because it's kind of a courtyard, so you'd be able to see the little fountain in the middle. It is not bubbling or anything along that line. It is just a little stone ring with a little mini statue in the middle of a little cherub peeing, you know. She is going to walk in kind of slowly, trepidatiously. Oops. Wow, she just turned herself inside out. I'm going to zoom the stream camera out a bit. And put that away. She kind of looks at the at the fountain. Now, you see 3 doors. You see the main door into the main house, and then you see these 2 side doors, and they almost look like apartments. Like these are separate but attached houses to the main house.
Like the groundskeeper's hut or whatever?
Yeah. Yep.
Are there footprints? Is there snow on the ground?
Make an investigation roll. There is snow on the ground. Or investigation or survival, whichever you have better.
Alright. Survival and investigation. Alright.
Okay. You see the faint traces of a set of footprints leading away from the house, but they look to be at least a few days old. They're more of like just divots in the snow at this point.
Any smoke coming out of the chimneys?
There is, yes. And she's going to approach the door and gently knock. And she waits.
You want to move Farrell up on the map? I don't know if he's at his computer.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'm just kind of spacey. Sorry.
That's okay.
She reaches forward and grabs the lock, or grabs the doorknob and begins to turn it. And the door opens with a rasp and kind of groans painfully as it's pushed open. And a rush of stale air rushes from the building. And a puff of dust off the floor as the door just kind of pushes through a foyer that doesn't look like it's been used in a little while. The interior is a bit on the dark and gloomy side. It has rotting tapestries and paintings hanging precariously on rusted nails, spider webs in every nook and cranny. But there is... Oops, she's not there. What are you doing? You're the wrong token. There is a big S in the middle of the door of the map for some reason. Why is that there? Why is that there? Oh, was that the light? That's weird. Sorry. I'll get it together in just a second. I've got so many different things I'm tracking.
Unacceptable.
And it's hard to realize what is actually on what layer until I have a thing open on the other screen. Oh, did I get rid of the entire layer? Oh, that's fun.
There we go.
That's okay. I've got this other book here. I've got some old second edition books in front of me, guys.
Oh my lord.
These are old school. I found this map on DM's Guild of the actual building from the old second edition module, so I had to use it.
Nice.
But he put the numbers in the wrong layer, apparently, so that's fun. All right. So she cautiously enters. She kind of shouts out, "Hello?" And the sound is almost swallowed up by all the baffling in the room. The layers of dust and stuff just kind of swallow up the sound.
Are you sure we're in the right place? This mansion looks like it's been disused.
It has to be. Surely it has to be Schloss Mordenheim, doesn't it? And at that moment, from the stairs on the left, a man appears. And I'm gonna find him. Here he is. Is that the right layer? Yes. And he slowly steps down the stairs. He says, "Can I help you folks? I haven't had visitors here in more than 2 years." Make an insight check.
What?
Alright. Cadwell, right off the bat, when his eyes hit Katrina, there's a look of recognition. Like the eyebrows kind of perk up for a moment.
Oh, her, him.
Her.
Oh,
He says, "My dear, what can I do for you?" She says, "I'm looking for my aunt, Elise Brenthoven." Make another insight check, everyone, please. All right, Helis and Zor and Cadwell. There is suspicion a little bit in his eyes at the mention of her name. He says, "I'm afraid, my dear, you won't find her here. Elise was my wife, but she suffered a horrible accident. She stumbled down the second floor stairs and hit her head against the corner of the door frame, and it was a dangerous injury. I did everything I could. I'm a doctor, you see. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Dr. Victor Mordenheim. It's great to meet you. The resemblance to your aunt, was it, is astounding. You truly are her niece. It was a great loss to science. She was a brilliant mind. But I'm afraid your search has ended. She is no longer here. I have not really used most of the house due to the painful memories. I just kind of live upstairs. I have a servant that tends to me, but he's away on business. So you're welcome to use the servants' quarters and the guest chamber outside. Spend the night if you must. I have warm clothing. You look like you did not dress for this environment. The rest of you are a fascinating group of people, I must say. But my home is yours. Please, I'll try to prepare some form of a meal if I can. If you wait right here, I'll go get the keys for the guest quarters outside. And
Thank you for your hospitality.
of course. Anything, anything for a relative of Elise. But please, I'll be right back. And he heads back up the stairs. And Katrina says to you, Cadwell, I don't know what to make of him.
I mean, have you not met him before?
No, I knew that she had said she'd gotten married, or my mother told me that she had gotten married, but I didn't know the name of the man. This is all something else. I was not expecting this. But hey, I was right. Yeah, we can get some clothing for the rest of you. Some warmer clothes that they're probably used. She kind of half smiles. It's not very amused. And you see that she's kind of like holding back any real emotion that she might be feeling over the deceasement, the demise of her aunt that she's spent the last few months searching for. Maybe, I don't know, Cadwell, I don't know. It all feels so final.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Now what do we do? And she just kind of wanders around the room a little bit.
I guess we could accept his hospitality and spend the night. Figure out what to do in the morning.
I wouldn't want to walk back down the mountains in the dark and have another one of those wolves attack us.
Right.
So that's probably a good idea. So she peers in the doorway over here, and you're peering in over there, and over there you see an exhibit room containing many wonders. There are some mounted skeletons, fossils of some strange creatures, fluorescent rocks and chemicals on shelves, insects pinned to boards, bottles of various creatures preserved by arcane taxidermy, and some weird metal gadgets with the occasional spark zapping off the top of it. Some glass jars holding human and animal organs preserved in alcohol.
Ooh.
Occasionally one of the devices will spark and the organ in the jar will twitch. Just a very creepy trophy room.
Yeah. Okay.
And Victor comes back down the stairs. He says, here, he walks over to you, Cadwell. He says, here's the key to the guest room. There should be, I think there's 2 beds in there, but there might be a few cots available in the closet there. And, my dear, what did you say your name was? She says, Katrina. He says, yes, my dear Miss Brenthoven. Here is the key to my servant's quarters. He's a relatively neat man, so you should be able to make yourself at home there. If you find a few things in there that would make your stay a little bit more comfortable, I'm sure he won't mind. She smiles. She says, "You're very gracious, Uncle. Is that okay if I call you Uncle?" And he smiles and he says, "Oh yes, I would like that very much." Yes. About dinner, I don't really have a lot of food options, but if you'll come right this way, I will prepare you what I can. And he escorts you up the stairs, and I'm gonna go to here, and I'm gonna put you. We'll go. I think this is the dining room, sort of. Oops. puts you in this room. This is like a weird cross-shaped table. And he goes through this door over here, which is the kitchen. He leaves the door open. You can see into the kitchen area. And he's just kind of fumbling about. He's obviously not used to cooking for more than just himself. But there's some dried foodstuffs and some vegetables that were obviously left outside to keep them frozen. And he whips together a meal. It's passable. And he comes back and pulls up chairs for everyone. And he says, "So, Irina, tell me about your aunt. When you knew her. It's been so long, and I would love to hear some stories about my dear, sweet Elise." And over dinner, you basically get some family stories about her growing up with her mother and her aunt. And Elise sounds like a really smart, nice woman, but she was definitely into the sciences and the medical arts. So it wouldn't be out of character for her to have met a man who is probably a few years too old for Elise. If Irina's 30, her mom was probably 50. Victor seems to be in his mid-60s. So not too huge of a age difference, but just this side of creepy, you know. But he seems to be an okay person as far as what you can read so far. Do any of you interject any kind of conversations during the meal? Or do you just sit back and
No.
I'm kind of just shell-shocked that we're in a place that's not at all where we were headed.
Oh, yes.
Still doesn't make a lot of sense.
You bring that up?
I'm waiting for the twist to be, but this isn't Ravenloft, it's somewhere else.
I wouldn't hold your breath for that twist.
No.
How could I not?
Yeah.
Does anyone mention that you're... Oh, no, you know what? Katrina will. She'll be like, Uncle, these folks say that they're not from Lamordia. Where was it? Salt Swamp something?
Saltmarsh.
Saltmarsh, Uncle? Have you heard of Saltmarsh? He kind of cocks his head a little bit. It's kind of a generic name, but it doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid. Perhaps it's further west of Ludendorff? Katrina says, "That's what I said." Victor's like, "No, I've heard tales of ships appearing in the trackless sea from parts unknown. When I used to live in Ludendorff, I would hear tales of people just arriving and not knowing where they were from, or they knew where they were from, but they didn't know how they got here. And I assume they moved on and found their way home, and I assume you will do the same. The waters around here are dangerous to sail on. There's a lot of ice flows and such. So you may need to stay close to the coast, but I feel if you keep heading either probably west, you might be able to find your bearings. Perhaps you just haven't heard of Ludendorff before, as much as I hadn't heard of Saltmarsh."
Fair enough.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you. Rather fascinating, actually. I have never seen an anthropomorphic feline before.
Yes, we're quite a traveling race. We never sit still for long.
I've
I
come
think that's something. You should see when the little one gets into battle.
I've seen gnomes before. They are an amusing people. And you, sir, where do you come by that fabulous blue skin?
I was born with it. I'm a Triton.
Ah, Triton. I bet I have books on such as you. Ah, I would not have wagered ever seeing one in my lifetime, so it is an honor to finally meet one. I assume you
Just
are
nod to it.
you are an exemplary example of your race, I assume.
Other than the fact that I'm not currently in the sea, yes.
Fair enough. Well, I have studies to get to. I have work to perform. So it's been a pleasure meeting you all. If I could see you to your quarters, make sure everything is to your liking. We will speak again in the morning. Fair?
All right.
Okay,
Sounds
then.
good. Thank you.
All right. And he leads you back downstairs, and goes out front. And he puts on a big winter coat. Why is Farrell out in the? Okay. Oops. He puts on a big winter coat and goes out into the courtyard. And he steps over and he'll wait till everyone else is outside. He locks the door to the mansion behind him as you come out. He walks over to this door. And he waits for you to come and unlock it because he gave you the key, Cadwell.
Okay, yeah.
He goes in and rummages around and finds a couple bedrolls so that you can make a separate place to sleep. This is a room furnished with 2 single beds, a table, armchairs, and a commode. A nice non-public or non-private commode. The room is thick with dust, and the curtains are so rotted that they tear if you try to part them. The fireplace is kind of choked with cobwebs, but he will take the time to help you clear it out a little bit and get a fire going. There's a painting on the floor with the glass cracked. It's on its side, and the painting depicts a public building, and the caption in common at the bottom reads, Academy of the Sciences, Eisenbach. You've never heard of Eisenbach either. And then he comes over to the other door, and he talks to Irina for a moment, and she unlocks this door. And if you would like to give the room a quick inspection, it is the same furnishings as the visitor's wing, except that it is a bit cleaner. There are some footprints in the dusty floor, and the fireplace has been used within the last few weeks. The blankets are a little rumpled, as if whoever slept in there didn't make the bed when they got up. But otherwise, it's a lived-in space. And Victor says, "This bed here is my servant's, so best you should use the other. It should be still fairly clean." And she smiles, says, "Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you in the morning." He's like, "Yes, of course." And then he leaves. And he bids you all good night, and he goes back into the building. And I am going to say that, Farrell, are you in the servants' quarters, or are you still in the courtyard?
I'm in the servants' quarters.
Okay. So he says goodnight to everyone, and he goes in the house. Irina hollers over. She's like, "Good night, Cadwell. Good night, new friends.
Good night.
Get a nice fire going." And then she closes her door. Now, do you have any actions?
Start snooping.
Yeah, definitely gonna snoop.
All right. So make an investigation check. Well, actually, that depends where you're snooping.
Well, first I'm going to snoop these quarters, and then I'm going to snoop outside these quarters.
Okay.
Then I'm going to snoop any place that isn't locked, then any place that is locked.
All right. Make an investigation check. All right. You spend a good hour just basically turning over the inside of this room. You're looking for anything and everything that you can find. And what your evidence turns up is that it probably has never actually been used as a guest's quarters, like, or at least not in the last decade. It's a functional servant's quarters, but he probably didn't have any visitors. Just the way things are placed, the markings on the floor where the beds were placed and then never ever rearranged or anything. Just it doesn't seem like a well used. I mean, obviously the whole house isn't well used at this point, but like really an ever well used room. Now, what are the rest of you doing? I know that Kahila said he was investigating, right? You want to roll that as well?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm keeping them awake with my crazy cat hour.
That's true. So, let's say the two of you are working together and discussing it loudly enough that if the other two were planning on sleeping, it's difficult. Zor is probably, hanging out by the fire? Get a nice fire going. Blink. What about Cadwell?
Guess I'll take a look around too.
Okay, I can investigate.
Since I am an investigator, it's my background. So.
Nosy.
Oh, snap.
Nice.
You basically find the same things that they have. There's not really anything to find that's unusual in this room. You find a Gideon's Bible in the drawer by the bed. No, I'm just kidding.
We're burning.
Did you say you're going out into the courtyard?
I'm going to stay in the room and just rest after investigating the room. I didn't plan on poking anywhere further than that.
All right. Farrell, I want you to make a perception roll when you're out in the courtyard area poking around.
Okay.
Actually, anyone who goes out there and is just looking around for stuff. Make a
Perception.
12. What's your minimum? 12.
Did he give us any explanation as to why we're sleeping in like servants' quarters out in the courtyard rather than in the main house?
He did not.
Because that seems really weird. even if we're strangers. I don't know.
I'm curious. Like the cat, like this cat. I'm gonna look around out here too.
Okay. Make a perception roll.
Oh.
All right.
My passive's a 14.
Right. Okay. Nothing. Yeah. You're investigating the courtyard, and there's not really much to see besides the tracks that go basically to the servants' quarters and then out the door. The fountain is overgrown with dead leaves. And you see the two doors that are closed and your door behind you that is, well, it's technically closed, but I'm leaving it open because you left it unlocked. You see no lights on in this room, and the curtains are drawn. Same with the house.
I think I'm done looking around for now.
Okay. All right. So, Farrell, how long do you poke around before you go to bed?
I give it about an hour or so.
Okay. I would like one more perception roll. while you're out here. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. And then you go back in and go to bed.
Yeah, no reason to stay up.
Okay. A few hours later in the morning, there is no alarm, no wake-up call. Just the light of the sun kind of poking through the shattered curtains alerts you that it's morning. And no one comes to get you. Not that you were expecting anyone to come get you, but...
And I'm gonna go and check on Katrina.
Okay. You knock on the door, and there is no answer.
I call to her. Katrina, are you in there?
No answer.
I check the door. Is it
Door
locked?
appears to be locked.
Well, that's why I'm here.
All right. Make a dexterity or thieves' tools.
Thieves' tool. Attribute. That would be Dex.
All right. With a subtlety that is incredible, you just kind of clickety-click, and the door just peels open, revealing an empty servant's quarters.
Any sign of a
Yeah, make an
struggle?
investigation roll.
Investigation.
Oh no! Oh, that's feral. Okay, yeah. There we
Yeah.
go. You see there.
Yeah, I'm no good at the looky.
There's sheets thrown on the floor. There are a set of footprints in the dust on the floor that are about twice the size of Katrina's footprints. They lead from this wall, head to the bed, and then back toward that wall.
I'm gonna go and check out that wall.
Okay. What's your passive?
14.
All right, make a perception roll.
Perception. Nice.
You feel around. You're looking at the floor to ceiling mirror on the wall there, and you realize that there's a little catch next to it, and it swings open to reveal a secret door into the house. It is not on this map, but it is on the map I have. The lighting layers this guy made don't have the hole, so I'm not going to be able to cut it in there, but you can basically step into the house through there if you wish to do that.
I do.
Okay. You're in the house. The tracks.
And I follow.
All right. You let anyone else know what's going on?
Probably should. Barely want to go let them know what's happening.
Yeah. Farrell's quick too, so
Fine.
he can quickly let
Okay.
everyone know. So I'll move you into the room.
I do my cat's run out. There it is.
Move Kahilas through the secret door. I should have turned Explorer mode on. Let me do this real quick for you. It's not going to matter. So you're back in the trophy room. And the footprints. Make another investigation roll.
Yep. I was going to fail at some
Lose them in
point.
the house, but Pharaoh picks them up and realizes they go up the set of stairs toward the second floor.
Ooh.
Up which set of stairs?
This one here. Although you know
The one
from
that
being
came
upstairs
down.
that they're the same. They go to the same landing.
I think it was the
upstairs.
same thing. Okay.
Yep, and that takes you to the second floor, which technically you'd be in. Oops, Irina, you're not here anymore. Victor, you're not here anymore. I will turn on the Explorer mode real quick. All right. So you come up on this landing. Oh, hold on, Zora, I'm moving you. You come up on this landing here. You see that there are two different landings. They just go to different sides of the same area. And none of the interior doors are locked.
Store.
Make an investigation, see if you can follow these tracks. You're at this point, it's getting harder to track them because you're just trying to find flecks of dust in an area that you yourselves have walked around in yesterday. But as you're walking around in the dining area, which is where you follow the tracks into easily. One second. I believe that is a second set of stairs up to a third floor, and that is where you catch snippets of tracks at the foot of this stairway here.
Where?
Sorry, down in here. Oh, it's not showing you. I'm on the wrong layer. Yep, where Farrell is. You see some dust going up that set of stairs. And as you get to the foot of the stairs, Farrell, you hear Victor talking, kind of muttering to himself, and all of you start to hear heavy footfalls upstairs. If you make a perception roll high enough, I'll let you slightly make out what he's saying. That's not going to be enough. Let's see what everyone else gets first. All right. No, you just hear muttering. You don't really hear words.
I want to stealth my way up there.
All right, make a stealth roll. Whew. All right. Then Farrell, you find yourself. Oh yeah, I can do this. How do I do this? I always forget how to drag just one person. Did that work? Are you on the other map?
No?
You're still on this map? Okay.
Yeah.
How does that work? Oh, Jamie used to know how to do this. Oh, I think I know. Hey, there we go. So now you are on this floor. You see exactly what you see right here. Can you see
Okay.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Without describing it for everyone else to see it, you see what appears to be some kind of an experiment about to be conducted. You see Katrina. She is unconscious on the bed. You see another woman on a bed next to hers. And between them, you see Victor between them, but between that scene and you, there is a creation, let's say.
Yep. I get it.
Yep. They do not seem to see you as you peer over the landing. You get the impression that if you don't do something soon, it may be too late for Katrina.
Okay. I will
Hiss.
dash forward and start slashing at the creation.
All right. I will say that your little hiss is enough of a indicator to the rest of your party members that you're going in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely follow up there.
This. I will allow you, just you, a surprise round this turn because nobody sees what you're about to do. But I will bring everybody else over here and just put you on the stairs. Hold on a second. Put you on the stair.
Oh, I forgot to click my token again.
And put you on the stair. All right. What did you get?
17.
Oh, it's on there.
Huh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's not on there either.
And it doesn't
I-
show up.
Oh, weird.
The turn order has me on there, but that's it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see
Oh, I
Zor,
see.
Cadwell, Farrell. Huh. All right. Well, let me. Add turn.
How did you roll a 0?
He didn't. I just
Oh, I got a
added him in.
17.
Yeah.
There we
I'm
go.
just adding people. Zor. Add turn. Got a 16.
So the G's in Zord silent.
Yes. His name is
Okay.
Zorro.
Zorro.
Yeah. With a lot of G's and H's. Alright, so who else is not in there? Frail, Keyless, Zor.
Me.
Oh, yes. Cadwell got a 12. So I will add turn Cadwell. Oops. 12. And who. Oh, yeah. I haven't rolled yet. Duh. Roll for him. Roll for him. Descending order. We're going to go with some rap battle again. Okay, so the rest of you, when you do come up here, you basically see what you can see here, a hideous, monstrous creation of bits of flesh stitched together. And Victor with some wires and diodes, and it looks like an aluminum foil hat on Katrina's head, and a similar looking contraption on the head of the other body, as he appears to be doing some form of brain transplant? You can't really tell. But Farrell, you go first before anyone else gets a chance to act.
Nice.
Alright, let me make sure I understand how flesh golems work, because they do have some immunities and stuff because they're weird flesh golems. Alright, do you have a magical weapon?
No, I don't.
Okay, so as you hack slash at the flesh golem and it slowly turns to look at you, you leave no marks on the skin of the creature.
Fuck.
Victor
Nice.
shouts out, "Stop! You're too late! I must save my sweet Elise! The perfect donor has arrived! You can't take this from me!" And he draws a hand crossbow and kind of crouches behind the Katrina's bed for partial cover.
Oh my god.
And he takes a shot at Farrell. And he misses. What? What's up? Oh my god, what?
He's got her brain inside that golem and he wants to transplant it into Katrina.
It looks more like he wants to take his wife's brain and put it in Katrina's body.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even seeing that other icon over there.
Yep. All right, so that's his shot. He misses. Kahilis, you are up. You notice Farrell's attacks on the flesh golem leave no damage.
Now I'm going to attack this gentleman over here.
All right.
I'm going to do Vow of Enmity and give myself advantage for the next minute.
Okay.
I assume we got a rest, at least a short
Yes,
rest
you got
before
a
all
long
this.
rest, basically. It was the next
Okay.
morning.
Cool. All right.
So Zoe's back to full hit points.
What's that?
You're back to full hit points because you got a full night's rest.
Oh, yeah.
And
23 is definitely a hit. For 9 damage.
and then my second attack. Yeah.
He's like, "No, stop! You have to stop! I can save her!" As he's like trying to hold back your longsword swings.
I assume a
Zor-
10 doesn't hit.
A 10 does not hit, no.
Okay, so I figured. All right.
All right. Well, noticing that Farrell's attacks don't do anything, can I stab with my dagger twice?
Yes, you can.
And rage.
You can. If you want to rage first, that'd make more sense, but yeah.
I'm gonna rage first. I shall go kilt free.
Okay.
to improve my freedom of movement.
Yep.
Um,
That's a hit. And that's a hit. And you do 8, 10, 19 damage. And they all seem to do damage. He does not seem to be immune to your magical dagger. Slice, slice, slice. And it turns to you. Cadwell.
fire burn.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. To there. Can I see over this table?
Yes, it's only like waist high table.
Okay. That's what I figured. Alright. I'm going to Chaos Bolt this son of a bitch at level 3.
Okay, nice.
I'm going to use 3 sorcery points to twin spell that and cast it onto this guy too.
He's doing it right? I forgot that Jim did it wrong at one point.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah.
2 targets. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, so toss it. See what you get. You have to roll for the attack, right? Or is it a save?
It's not attackable.
Okay. So first one against the golem will go 15 is a hit. Whew. What kind of damage?
I'm going to roll here.
2 or an 8?
2 or
8. It looks like.
Oh yeah, okay, yep. 2 or an 8. Let me see, I have to look up the chart now. Chaos Bolt.
This is a very important choice.
2 is cold. 8 is ooh. I like thunder. Let's do 8.
8 thunder?
Yep.
All right. He seems to take 19 points of thunder damage. He's rocked where he stands. He's a slow, unmoving, or very slow to move target. It's easier to hit him than it is to hit a wall. And make the attack on the doctor. Ooh. All right. That's an 11. That's really not going to matter what type of element you roll on him. He's going to take 17 points of damage, reducing him basically to 1 hit point. As he drops to his knees with his hands up going, "No, you have to stop. I need to save her." All right. That's Cadwell's turn. Farrell.
I think I'll go over here, just take the opportunity attack as he swings at me.
All right. He does a slam swing at you. Hits AC 26 for 12 bludgeoning damage as you try to nimbly run by. He just kind of backhand. Bam!
Yep, I'll do that. And while I do that, I would like to drop my ball bearings
Okay.
right here in case he tries to follow me.
Interesting.
That would be my move and my bonus action, right?
Yes. Oh,
And then I'll just like to make a normal attack on the Doctor.
Okay. That's all it takes to basically kill him, or at least knock him to unconscious. I'm assuming you're going for the full-on dead doctor. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do this, and then I'm gonna put the X on his body.
Well, I wasn't trying to be gentle with him.
Okay, so you stab him in the back as he's looking up at Kahilus. Kahilus, you see like the tip of the rapier come out through his face. And his expression is just kind of a shocked one as he slides off the dagger onto his face on the ground. The golem, seeming to not notice or care, is going to turn around and try to double slam Zor because he was the one who hit him. The first slam hits AC 11, which I believe is a miss. And the second slam hits AC 19 for 13 bludgeoning damage. Remember, raging, you take half damage against non-magical sources like this.
Is that rounded up to 7 then?
I'll round it down. I'll round it down to 6.
Okay.
But it hurts. Like, you're mad enough to push through it, but it's like a big meaty fist just right down on your head.
Oh.
Alright, Kahilus.
Is Katrina unconscious right now?
She is unconscious, yeah. And the top of her head's been shaved. Well, there's a metal plate in the way, but you see signs of black curly hair all over the floor.
So the surgery's already been performed? Or she's
no, it looks like it was about to be performed. Like he's been
got it
overnight.
All right. Because there's not much I can do.
You can.
All right, I'm going to.
You can provide advantage to Zor by just, fainting, or you can take the dodge action. But there are things you can do in combat if you're ineffective that can at least draw attention away or minimize damage. Plus, you have your spells and stuff like that too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I am going to cast Heroism on Zorg, so he gets 4 temporary hit points per at the start of each of his turns.
Okay.
And is immune to being frightened.
Okay. Are you moving?
And yeah, I'm going to get further away.
Okay.
I'll just hang out over here.
All right. So Zor, you start your turn with 4 bonus hit points, temporary hit points.
Yes. And I will stab.
Okay. That's 2 hits and 10, 16, 18 damage. All right. You have crossed a threshold on a flesh golem. This is interesting. I've never dealt with one in 5th edition, so this is fun. All right. You hit him, and you hit him again, and you leer at him, and he leers back at you, and you see the light seems to go off in his eyes. Like they were on, now they're off. Like he's just gone more feral than he already was. Cadwell.
I'm on Scorching Right.
Okay, Scorching Right.
At level 30. Which gives me an extra right. So I will do this 4 times.
Believe it or not, all of those hit.
Wow.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
9, 11, 22 damage. Wow. All right. So he takes 22 damage, and he is now disadvantage on attack rolls until its next turn. As the fire kind of burns along the stitches and along the scars and cracks, and he just like roars in pain as the fire just cascades over him. Do you wish to move at all?
No, I'm fine running.
All right, Pharaoh.
There's not much I can do to him. The only thing magical I have is the cursed Luckstone.
Right.
Go provide advantage for me.
You know what? Since it's always going to return to my pocket, I'm going to take it and throw it at the monster as hard as I can.
Just try to try to beat him with a rock with the luckstone. All right,
Yes.
make a ranged attack roll. It'd be the same as your thrown dagger or your regular dagger attack, or probably any of your weapons because they're all dex based anyway.
There's this dagger.
So, ping! You kind of huck the stone off the back of his head. Doesn't seem to do damage. Just because it's a magical item doesn't mean it's designed to do magical damage, but it was worth a shot.
Nice.
Now is the flesh golem's turn. He is in a state of mind that requires me to roll a d6 at the start of his turn. I rolled a 1. All right. So he is going to continue to try to beat on Zor. He maintains control of his mental faculties. 24 is a hit for, we'll say, 4 damage after the round down. And a 12 is a miss. He tries to trick you. He comes down with the big fist, and you block it. And he tries to give you a little uppercut thing, but he misaims and just kind of swings wide. I already divided it by 2 for you, so. And it is.
And those temporary hit points have been wiped, but no real damage.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All right, I'm going to do lay on hands on Pharaoh for 12 to get him back full.
Okay.
Oh, that's the exact amount.
Doug, does it say on your rage that it's specifically non-magical damage, right?
I don't think it says anything about magical damage.
Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Oh, yeah, it doesn't specify magic or not. Wow. Okay, good. Because I just discovered golem punches are magical. But still applies. Still applies. Thank God. Alright, so you go and heal Pharaoh.
Yep, and that's my turn.
And it is Zor's turn.
Alright. Stab.
Ooh.
Wow. And with that, you slice and slice again, and the golem just drops.
Can we just pause for a second to appreciate the fact that a gnomish barbarian just stabbed a flesh golem to death with a dagger?
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Hey, pantsless gnomish barbarian.
Yes, he's
Yep.
a naked gnome has just stabbed a flesh golem to death.
Yeah.
You sliced the shit out of his knees.
Yep, you capped him. You kneecapped him.
So the flesh golem is dead and just kind of still simmering from the 4 scorching rays. And Victor lies face down with a big hole in the back of his head from the rapier. And you see 2 women lying on the beds. Katrina.
I immediately go to Katrina's side.
Her head is shaved. She is unconscious. You feel a pulse, but it's very faint. The other woman is, let's see. She's pale. She's very, very, very thin. Like almost skeletal. There are multiple IV tubes running into all the different points of her arms to various little towers of things seemingly keeping her alive. And she is conscious. And as you look at her, her eyes just kind of slowly follow you around the room. And you can see her mouth moving, but it's so quiet. What do you want to do?
All right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try using my lay on hands to remove a poison effect from her see if that.
From the sickly woman.
Yeah, to see if that has any effect.
You You reach out and you touch her, and it's cold, almost like inhumanly cold. And as you cast neutralize poison, the spell doesn't attach. You cast it, but you feel like it just went out, like it didn't
Okay.
find a
Like just
target to
dissipated.
purchase to. Yeah, like the spell didn't know what
Okay.
you wanted it to do. You might as well
I
try
have
to
one
remove
more.
poison from a tree.
I'm gonna try to remove a disease
Okay.
by the same method
You get
with my lay on hands and
you
see
get
if
the
that.
same kind of a result. Like
Okay.
You have medicine. Make a medicine check with advantage.
Okay. Medicine. Oh. Wow. Nice.
Wow.
It matters. I've yet to use a
Cured.
smite this whole campaign, but here we go with medicine checks.
A quick cursory look over her, and you think maybe she's actually deceased, and whatever weird stuff he's got hooked up to her is somehow keeping her consciousness awake in her technically dead body.
If we lean real close, can we hear what she's saying?
Sure, you lean
Not
in
close enough to be hidden.
Well, she hasn't moved besides her eyes and her mouth, and as you put your ear right about an inch away from your mouth, from her mouth, all you hear is, "Kill me."
Oh. Awful. So
Do you tell that to anyone else?
I'm gonna let everyone know, and I'm gonna advocate for letting Katrina make that decision. I am assuming that this is her aunt.
If we can wake her up.
Right. I guess I wasted my lay on hands on the wrong person. Whoops.
I'm gonna
Okay,
try
so I'm
and
gonna.
wake her up. Just slap her in the face a little bit.
Okay.
Come on, shake her. Wake up.
You slap her and shake her, and you get the impression that whatever's keeping her unconscious was probably medically induced. Like she's been anesthetized, basically.
So it'll need some time to pass.
Okay, so yeah.
You if it's not clear, this area is of a higher technological advancement level than what the Saltmarsh people are used to. But Cadwell, you'd be familiar with, like, narcotics and anesthetization and some of the minor electricity and stuff. I think they even have firearms in Ludendorff.
Okay.
So you'd have a bit more of a scientific understanding, if not an actual knowledge of how to use it. So you don't know how long she'll be out for.
All right. Well, yeah. So what do we do about the aunt? I don't know how long Katrina's going to be out for, so she's not going to be able to make that decision, I don't think.
Yeah. I think we should just unplug whatever's being pumped into her to keep her in this state.
I agree.
You might not want this choice anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just gonna walk over and I'm gonna remove the tubes from her.
Okay.
And see what happens.
Okay. As you pull out various tubes, the fluids kind of just run onto the floor. And about a minute or two after you've pulled the first tube, you see that the arm that it was plugged into is starting to darken and blacken a little bit, and it quickly seems to spread along the body, and the eyes just kind of roll back. And there's almost a smile, or at least a look of relief on the face as the blackness comes up along its neck and passes the chin and over the eyes, and then the body just lays there still, and like years of decay seem to catch up. It doesn't completely rot away to nothing, but it shrivels and looks really bad. What would you like to do?
Well,
Well, time to clean up all these ball bearings I dropped then.
Farrell's picking up ball bearings and putting them back in a bag. Katrina is not hooked up
Anyone
to
have a
any,
broom?
tubes or anything like that. She's movable. She's just unconscious.
Let's pick her up and head out, I guess.
She's not a terribly large woman, so you can easily carry her out. Not like that metal sea chest you guys lugged through a sinking ship. This is small potatoes compared to that. So yeah, you can pick her up. Are you gonna head back to the ship?
I think so, unless anyone else has any objection.
Bundle her up and
Loot the doctor.
and head down. You loot the doctor. You find 35 gold pieces stamped in a coinage that you are not familiar with.
gold is gold. Nice.
Gold is gold.
I'm gonna.
He has a
do we
short sword
find
and a hand crossbow too, but nothing particularly magical. And he's not wearing any armor.
Is there anything that we can find in this room that's of any interest?
I would say everything is of interest, but all of it looks extremely dangerous.
Fair. Okay.
It's more of a curios than in anything
Right.
we can actually use.
Right. Yeah. So, for the sake of expedience, you bundle her up, you bundle yourselves up, and you head out the front door and down the mountain to the rowboat. You see no other wolves on the mountain, no encounters to impede your journey, and you get to the ship, and she's still out cold. But she's not cold. She's alive. She's just completely unconscious. And you get her on the boat, and you row back to the ship. And you have to kind of work together to get her up the rope ladder. And as you do, it's been maybe 6 hours between when you left the house and when you finally get back to the ship, and she starts to move, like her eyes flutter a little bit. She kind of coughs, gasps a little bit, but she's out of it. She's dazed. She's like that YouTube video of the kid after the dentist, you know. She's kind of saying things that don't make any sense.
Is this real life?
Yeah. You get a lot of, Cadwell, you've always been my best friend. Well, someday we'll find out who you used to be. You're great for a dead guy.
Let's get her wisdom teeth removed.
Yeah. And you try to make her shut up.
Yeah.
I won't tell anyone. It's cool, Cadwell. You've always been my best friend. Cadwell, where do you think we should go next? Since my aunt is gone.
I don't know. Let's worry about you getting back to normal first.
And the captain volunteers her quarters to put her in until she can completely get her faculties back together. And as night falls, a similar vicious, thick fog rolls in, and everyone's like, "Oh no, not again!" And the night passes in the dark. Well, duh. With the with the thick fog, and the ship
Well,
is
if we're far enough
anchored.
north,
Oh yeah, you might see some aurora borealis. Actually, you probably do. But all it does is make the fog glow weird blue and green flickering colors. But by morning, by sunup, as the fog seems to burn away with the rise of the morning sun, you find yourself about a mile away from Saltmarsh. You can see the town behind you. You have moved almost nowhere.
Are Cadwell and Katrina still with us?
Cadwell and Katrina are still with you.
Where are we? I say out loud.
Yeah. Welcome to our world.
Back in Saltmarsh, the normal place.
It's much
This
warmer
is
here.
Saltmarsh.
It's
We don't
almost-
have evil doctors here.
It's like Georgia levels of humidity. It's not quite tropical, but it's definitely not cold temperate or Arctic.
Pretty humid.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
humid. It's definitely warmer. The water's much louder, and this music is no longer appropriate. But you have taken a brief jaunt into the lovely domain that is Ravenloft, and you've picked up a new friend. But before we
Amazing.
close out, we have a little bit of a cutscene. So I'm gonna go back to this. We see this room without the players in it. Let me do this real quick because it'll work really cool.
Watch as everything resets itself.
Just warps.
You're not here. 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 The man on the floor, the hole in the back of his head slowly begins to re-stitch itself together.
What?
You see weird nerve endings reach out and intermesh with each other, and then as they do that, the flesh goes from a red to a pink to a normal fleshy color, and then little buds of hair begin to sprout and then grow, and the hair is completely normal. The man leans up from the floor, looks around at the chaos of his room, sees his creation smoldering, more of a pile of burned flesh than anything recognizable anymore. And his face shows a sign of disappointment more than anything else. He looks at the bed where Katrina was, kind of straightens it out, gets a rag and washes down the top, because it's more of a countertop than it is a bed, And then he turns back to the woman that's still here, the black body. He sighs, goes around to the other side, where he picks up the tubes, places them back into her arm, and then he goes about the room grabbing new little bags of fluid, comes back. Oops, that's not supposed to happen. And
The elongating man.
he hooks the new bags up to the metal pipes, and the fluids begin to flow. And at the points where the fluid goes into the arm, the flesh goes from black to more of a fleshy, pale tone again. And just like before, but in reverse, it seems to spread along her arms and up. And as it passes her neck, her chin, her nose, her eyes, there's a soft gasp of breath. The eyes flutter open. They look toward Victor, and there's a almost inaudible no. The end.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was creepy as fuck. If he ever does get her brain inside of someone else's body, she's gonna hate him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be like some Frankenstein monster type stuff going on.
That was your introduction to Dr. Victor Mordenheim.
I want a friggin' sequel episode
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I have one.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
This was the like 6
Bride
pages.
of Mordenheim.
This was called Bride of Mordenheim. You're not even joking. It was
Oh!
chapter 1 of the Book of Crypts. Came out in 1991. It was the second Ravenloft product published. It was just a series of 9 short vignettes, basically. About 2 years later, they came out with a book called Adam's Wrath, which is an entire 32-page adventure about Dr. Victor Mordenheim. And it somewhat takes the Bride of Mordenheim into account a little bit. So I have already been in the process of converting the maps over to Roll20.
This makes me want to play an entire Ravenloft campaign so bad.
Well, all I can hope for is that I captured the Halloween mood.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good creepy games this week, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, this was